After failing to reach the Final Four for the third straight year, Syracuse men's lacrosse looks to reclaim its spot atop college lacrosse this year.
Coming up, we'll preview some of the new faces for the Syracuse lacrosse team, and we'll catch up with the head man John Desko and goalie Evan Molloy as they get prepared for the 2017 season.
Plus, we'll take a look at SU's 2017 schedule and where the Orange is ranked heading into the season. It's Citrus TV's 2017 lacrosse preview show, and it starts right now. Hello and welcome inside Ensley Athletic Center for Citrus TV's 2017 lacrosse preview show. I'm Michael Tricarico.
And I'm Kevin Ryans. Michael, it is really exciting to see that Syracuse lacrosse is back on the hill.
Yes, Kevin, it is. But it's been 8 years since Syracuse has won a national championship in lacrosse. But this year's team brings back a core of experience from last year, as well as a talented freshman class.
Michael, you're right, and we'll take a look at some of those key returners and some of the key additions coming into this season. But before we get into this season, let's take a look back at last year.
Certainly a disappointing loss for the Syracuse senior class, NCAA tournament quarterfinal loss to Maryland, but Kevin, Syracuse did win the ACC tournament for the second straight year. One big loss from last year to this year is leadership, and it starts with Dylan Donahue, a two-year captain for Syracuse. Donahue had at least one goal or one assist in his last 56 games of his career, one of 17 players to ever record 200 career points.
Yeah, that's a big loss over on the offensive end. On the defensive end, Syracuse loses its defensive leader in Brandon Mullins. He started all 17 games last year for the Cuse. The senior racked up a career-high 41 ground balls and led the team with a career-high 31 caused turnovers en route to an All-ACC and an All-American season.
Back on the offensive end, Tim Barber graduates from Syracuse. He was a two-year player for SU after transferring from Onondaga Community College. Third on the team last year with 15 assists, fourth on SU with 28 goals. Barber played both attack and midfield.
So those players were a key part of Syracuse's success last season, and they will surely be missed, but the Orange does return 3 All-Americans, including one over at the Faceoff X. Ben Williams returns looking to shatter career faceoff records at SU. The senior holds 2 of the best 9 seasons in program history in terms of win percentage. In his 2 years at SU, Williams has won 65% of his faceoffs. That is certainly terrific, Michael.
It is, and on the off chance that Williams doesn't win the faceoff, Syracuse has a key on defense defense, it's Nick Mellon. Last year, Mellon was the first true freshman to start on D since 2012. Mellon played all 17 games. He started in 16 of them and was second on the team with 14 caused turnovers.
Sergio Salcido comes back off a breakout performance in 2016. He finished second on the team with 29 goals and 24 assists, and he started all 17 games in the midfield. The Winter Park, Florida native also earned All-American honors as well as All-ACC and ACC All-Tournament team accolades last season.
And sticking with offense, Jordan Evans is back for his senior year. Number 22 scored a goal in 16 of 17 games last year. He dealt with some injuries freshman and sophomore year, but his 27 goals last year was the most in a season for the JD product.
And finally, Nick Mariano was the last of the All-Americans to return to the squad in 2017. After transferring from UMass, Mariano was third on the team in points with 46 overall. The Yorktown Heights native led the team with 35 goals, and his six-man-up goals ranked in the top 25 nationally. As a freshman last year, Nick Mellon was getting his feet wet to the college lacrosse game, learning from stars such as Brandon Mullins. This year, he comes back as the only returning starter on close defense. Citrus TV's Adam Unger takes a look at the sophomore's role coming for Syracuse this season.
Since the Orange Alumni Classic, Syracuse has been missing its star defender, Nick Mellon. He has been dealing with shoulder injury since last spring, but he's been working to get back on track for February 11th.
He had an injury that he had worked on, in the off season, actually during fall ball. So we're hoping we can get him back pretty quickly. I'm not sure if he'll be there. He's not going to be here for practice right away.
I mean, he's been a little banged up, so he hasn't been really out there with us. But I think he's just more focused. He's working on getting healthy.
With the loss of Brandon Mullins and Jay McDermott, Mellon will be the only returning starter on defense. However, the impact he has on the Orange won't be much different from his freshman season.
In a lot of games last year, he covered the top attackman. He's got great quickness, so he's got that ability to cover a real quick guy, and there are plenty of those out there this year. So the sooner we get him back, the better off we're going to be.
He's an athletic freak. He's up to the task whenever he's got to cover those best guys, and he can stay with them. I think he's the best cover guy in the country, personally.
The preseason All-ACC long pole will look to build on his 14 caused turnovers and 38 ground balls from his freshman year once he returns from his injuries. I'm Adam Unger, Citrus TV.
Coming up on Citrus TV's Lacrosse Preview Show, we look at some of the key additions to the team, and I catch up with SU goalie Evan Molloy. Stay tuned.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with two buckles? What do you even need two buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back inside the Ensley Athletic Center alongside Kevin Ryans. I'm Michael Tricarico, and Kevin, Syracuse has a couple of key additions for this year's team, and it starts with a transfer. Brendan Bomberry transferred from Denver to be closer to his family and his 1.5-year-old son. Bomberry played in 16 games on Denver's second midfield line and first unit man-up team. 11 man-up goals for Bomberry led the nation and were tied for the second most in Denver's single-season D1 history.
Meanwhile, also in the midfield is freshman Jamie Trimboli. The Victor, New York native finished his high school career with 169 goals and 78 assists and was a member of the All-USA second team during his senior season. He played a huge role in helping Victor win 2 high school state championships.
On defense, Nick DiPietro comes in as the 50th overall prospect according to Inside Lacrosse. The 2016 first-team All-American, played varsity lacrosse since 8th grade and is known for his size and aggressiveness.
And the Cuse also brings an attackman who earned a lot of accolades as a prep player. Logan Wisnauskas from Sykesville, Maryland, was named to the first-team All-USA today in 2016, along with being the 2016 Baltimore Messenger Lacrosse Player of the Year. He finished his high school career 7th in all-time career points for boys Latin with 188, including 108 goals.
Last year, Nick Mariano transferred to Syracuse and led the Orange in scoring. This year, SU looked out west to Denver for a new transfer in Brendan Bomberry. Nick Petriccioni explains that family was at the heart of this decision.
One of the biggest changes in a high school senior's life is to pack up their bags and head to college. For Brendan Bomberry, that meant leaving his hometown of Ohsweken, Ontario, and traveling over 1,450 miles to the University of Denver, where he had earned a spot to play lacrosse on one of the nation's top teams. But the distance began to take a toll on Bomberry, who has a son named Jagger that lives in Ontario. He wanted to be closer to home, closer to family, and he found the perfect fit in Syracuse.
I have a year-and-a-half-old son, and I had to, take a step back and, look at, I'm not, I'm doing it for more than just myself, so I needed to take time back and then, focus on my family, so I need to move a little bit closer to home. So for me, Syracuse is the best spot. It's about 3.5 hours away from home, so that was the main reason I transferred here.
Not only is he closer to his son, Brendan now plays alongside his cousin Tyson, who is a defender for the Orange.
I mean, we've played together since we were 3 years old, so I mean, to play at a big stage like this is going to be really cool to see.
While Brendan loved his time in Denver, he's excited to start a new journey closer to home, here in Syracuse. For Citrus TV, I'm Nick Petriccioni.
All right, Kevin Ryan's joined by the guy who had 80 saves last year for Syracuse and made 9 starts, Evan Molloy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I want to start off with this. Last year, you were caught in a little bit of a goalie battle with Warren Hill. You didn't really, start the season as a starter, but then you made your way over there as a starter later on, again making 9 starts. So what is the preparation like knowing that you are the starter going into the season?
I think the competition the past 4 years when I was on the team was really good for me as a goalie, as a person, and just as an athlete in general. I think it's great this year that I can kind of focus on the team more, having the confidence of being that number 1 guy, work with the younger defenders. We got a lot of guys who don't have a lot of experience, and I can kind of teach them what they need to do and stuff like that and kind of focus on the team game more. Obviously trying to get better personally every day, but that's kind of the difference here. I'm trying to really be a leader this year going into it as a number 1 guy.
Now, you guys had a lot of losses over on the defensive end. Brandon Mullins left due to graduation and everything. So how has the unit come together in the fall and now going into the spring practices?
It's been great. We're really deep defensively. We got 4 or 5 guys fighting for the spots, which is great. We have Nick Mellon coming back, who was great for us last year. But every other spot's wide open, and we have some great athletes down there, a lot of young guys who bring a lot to the table. And they all bring something unique to the table as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how the chemistry works and how everybody fits in. But I'm excited. I think we got a lot of guys who can step in and make a big impact.
Now, who is one player who has impressed you so far over on the defensive end that is vying for one of those starting roles?
I really like what Tyson Bomberry's been doing. Last year, kind of the other guys who were competing, they've always been right there. So it wasn't really a surprise for them to be competing. But Tyson came in great shape. He's got a great stick, and he's playing really well. His game is elevated the most since last year coming to the fall. So I think that's why he stands out. But everybody in the competition is doing really, really well.
Now, as a fifth-year senior, you mentioned about taking a leadership role. So how do you go about taking over that leadership role, especially over on the defensive end?
I think the coaches and the other players on the team really like how vocal I am on the field. But as far as off the field and with the team in general, I just like to have a strong relationship with each individual. Kind of know where guys are at, what are they thinking, make sure everybody's motivated. And then as far as on the field, just make sure everybody's on the same page and we're ready for whatever the offense throws at us.
All right, and finally, what is something that personally you want to work on this season, whether it's in your game or anything a little bit off the field? What is one thing that you are planning to work on over for this season?
I think I could definitely become a better ball stopper. I think every goalie feels that way, so I'd have to say that. But I think I really want to work on our transition game. I think when I was in there, we did a pretty good job of getting some transition goals, but I've been really working on my clearing game, trying to get the ball out, throwing it downfield so we can get those odd man situations, get some quick goals and quick turnarounds from the defensive end to offensive end.
All right, Devin Molloy is the goalie for the SU Lacrosse team, and I thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up on Citrus TV's 2017 Lacrosse Preview Show, we take a look at one of Syracuse's young but talented attackmen. Plus, I sit down with Syracuse head coach John Desko to discuss his 19th season at the helm. Stick with us.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
So, Michael, how are you going to check out Citrus TV's lacrosse coverage this season?
Well, first I'm going to take out my phone, go to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and search Citrus TV Sports. Then I'm going to go online to CitrusTV.com and be able to see all of our lacrosse content as well as basketball, football, and every other sport up here on the Hill.
Nate Solomon had a standout freshman campaign with 8 goals and 2 assists in 15 games. And as Citrus TV's Matthew Weaslett there explains, with the departure of Tim Barber and Dylan Donahue, the reliance on the sophomore is even larger.
As a freshman, Nate Solomon found the back of the net 8 times. Now in his sophomore campaign, Solomon is looking to take a larger role in the attack.
Needs to be a threat this year. I think he got some dodges for goals last year. And we need him to be just consistent with that.
I definitely think my role is going to change as more of a ball carrier. I know Jordan's still out there. He's a great player, so I really got to just work with him if I want to get on the field.
He's doing well. He's been learning a lot from the older guys. He's a very talented young player.
For Solomon, a lot of this step forward will be credited to the experience and knowledge he gained last year from the seniors.
They had been in the same situation as I had been, as everyone says. Dylan really knew the system. Tim really knew the system. Everyone really knew the system. And so if I ever had a question, I would go to those guys first.
Probably was our 4th attackman last year. Got more game experience, more game time as the year went on. Played a little bit at the end of the year last year. Had a big ACC championship game.
It won't be easy for the Orange attack to replace the 57 goals scored by Tim Barber and Dylan Donahue last season, but Solomon may be the one who needs to lead the young scoring. I'm Matthew Wieselther, Citrus TV.
Now joined by Syracuse men's lacrosse head coach John Desko as we get ready for the 2017 season. Coach, as always, really appreciate you joining us here.
All right, well, thanks for having me.
As you look forward to this season, a big loss is leadership. Dylan Donahue on the offensive end and Brandon Mullins on the defensive end. How do you replace not just their talent but their leadership?
That's a great question. I think that a lot of guys have stepped up already. I think it starts with the senior class. About 15 of those guys running around, so that really helps. Our captains have done a great job this fall. We've relied on them for some input about the team as far as who's playing well, how we're doing off the field. Are things good there? So we've relied on these guys and this year's captains quite a bit. They're doing a very good job.
As far as offense goes, Nick Mariano and Sergio Salcido were two players in the midfield who were able to produce plenty of goals for you guys last year. Where do you see their roles this year?
Bigger. When you graduate Timmy Barber and Dylan Donahue, all of a sudden these guys become even more important. So we've put them in leadership roles and goal-producing roles in the fall and even in man-up situations. And it's a fine line because we don't want to ask them to do too much where they're trying to make everything happen and put a lot of pressure on them. So we're trying to get some of the younger guys to share the ball and to go to the goal and make some things happen.
As far as those younger guys that are now sophomores and juniors, what players do you see as taking increased roles in addition to the Nick Marianos and the Sergio Salcidos?
Another good question. I think that we need Jordan Evans to really step up this year. He's a senior at the attack end of the field, and he got the third defenseman a lot last year with Dylan and Timmy, so he's going to get the best guy this year, at least to start the year off. And guys like Nate Solomon, who was our fourth attackman last year, that got some good time at the end of the year. We need him to step up. We've got Thorpe out there. We've got Voigt to give us two lefty finishers, and we need them to play well, move off the ball well, run the offense, and need them to get an occasional dodge also, because once in a while teams will test us and get a short stick on one of them so that they can get two poles up on Sergio and Mariano.
Nick Mellon was a player last year as a freshman who played a major role for you guys. Who are the freshmen that are going to step up this year and maybe not play that big of a role, but play a big role for you guys?
Right. Well, I would say Jamie Trimboli out of Victor, and they won the state championship last year in New York. Kind of a local player, a very good athlete, good dodger, and has almost exceeded our expectations as far as a freshman coming in. Peter Dirth is another one that's played midfield out of the Westchester area. A two-way guy. We used him at short stick on the defensive end of the field, and he's played some pretty good offense, going forward for us. Logan Wisniewskis out of Boys Latin in Baltimore has had a really good fall. I'm not so sure how quickly he'll get on the field, but he's impressed us, and he could potentially play in the midfield, not only just at the attack end of the field.
And Coach, last national championship came in 2009. Obviously, there's so many more teams that can win a national title now, but how eager are you and the rest of the team to get back to the pinnacle of college lacrosse?
Oh, I think very eager. These guys have, especially our seniors, have had a lot of experience, and they've seen a lot of lacrosse now. They've won the ACC championship 2 years in a row, and in 2013 we were in the championship game and didn't win a lot of face-offs that day and walked away with a loss under our belt. So these guys have a lot of experience, and although as coaches we preach one game at a time, because that's really how we have to approach it. But in the back of their minds, these guys would love a shot at a national championship.
Coach, really appreciate the time and good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
Syracuse men's lacrosse head coach John Desko here with Citrus TV.
Let's take a look at the 2017 starting lineup. And we start off on attack. Citrus TV can project that Jordan Evans, number 22, will retain his spot over as attackman, and he'll probably be the quarterback role that Dylan Donahue was last year. Also joining him is Nate Solomon as a sophomore, and then Syracuse finally gets the southpaw that they need to be over on that offense. Moving down from the midfield is Nick Mariano.
Moving to the midfield, Serge Salcido, who was one of SU's leading scorers last year, will stick with his starting spot on the midfield. Matt Lane, who was an integral part of Syracuse's man-up offense, will be a starting midfielder. And then the transfer, Brendan Bomberry, he led the nation last year in man-up goals with Denver. The transfer will be starting in the midfield for Syracuse this year.
Over on defense, you could probably expect Scott Furman to get a role over on the starting role in defense, and also joining in Marcus Cunningham as well. And then the sophomore Nick Mellon, while he's a little bit banged up to start the season, he'll probably be getting some starters minutes once the season starts getting into full swing.
And the main communicator for that defense will be the man in goal, Evan Molloy, who took over in goal for Syracuse part of the way through last year, and he assured himself a spot as the starting goalkeeper as we head into 2017.
Next up, where does Syracuse fall in the national rankings? Plus, Michael and I will tell you which opponents the Orange face this year. You're watching Citrus TV's 2017 Lacrosse Preview Show.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah. Yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet. Oh,
Welcome back to Citrus TV's 2017 Lacrosse Preview Show. I'm Kevin Ryans with Michael Tricarico. We've talked to Coach Desko and to SU goalie Evan Molloy. Now it's time to take a look at the 2017 SU Lacrosse schedule. Syracuse starts off its schedule in late February with its annual 3 non-conference games against Siena, Albany, and Army. Those 3 teams are squads the Orange beat last year.
Then Syracuse begins conference play with Virginia at home before going on the road to St. John's and Johns Hopkins. Syracuse ends the month of March with the big game against Duke inside the Carrier Dome.
The Orange start April in South Bend as it takes on Notre Dame. Then it's time to battle for the Krause-Simmons Trophy as the Cuse faces off against in-state rival Hobart. After a meeting with Cornell, SU takes on defending national champion North Carolina, a team Syracuse beat last season. The Cuse ends the month of April in search of its 3rd straight ACC tournament.
Moving to the month of May, Syracuse plays its annual game against Colgate, this time in Hamilton. Then it's time for the NCAA tournament, where Syracuse looks to return to championship weekend.
Let's take a look at the preseason coaches poll top 10, and we start off with Johns Hopkins, a team that Syracuse lost last year in overtime.
Moving to number 9, Brown, a team that made it to championship weekend and one of 2 Ivy League schools in this top 10.
Yeah, Michael, Ivy League looking to build off a strong 2016 campaign. Yale comes in at number 8.
Moving to number 7, the first of what we'll see is a bunch of ACC teams. Duke, a team that Syracuse split with in 2 meetings last year.
Over at number 6, a team that went to championship weekend last year, Loyola comes in, and they are looking to build off another strong campaign as well.
Syracuse checks in at number 5 as John Desko's squad begins the year, as far as the coaches go, in the top 5 of the poll.
And Notre Dame comes in at number 4. Even though they're at number 4, they did lose a couple of their strong players in Matt Cavanaugh and Matt Landis.
Denver, a team that Syracuse got a transfer from, checks in at number 3 as Denver looks to build on their strong 2016 campaign with a revamped offense.
Coming in at number 2 is a team that's made the championship weekend 5 of the last 6 years, but hasn't won a national championship in Maryland, and they gave SU a loss in the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament.
Well, the reason Maryland doesn't have a national title is the team at number 1, North Carolina, a team Syracuse beat twice by the Tar Heels. They are defending national champs and the number 1 team in the preseason coaches poll. That'll do it for us inside the Ensley Athletic Center. Thanks so much for watching Citrus TV's 2017 Lacrosse Preview Show.
Yeah, be sure to check out our content at citrustv.com/sports and also follow us on social media at CitrusTV Sports. I'm Kevin Ryans.
And I'm Michael Tricarico. For our entire crew, once again, thanks for watching.